Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Friday to you. Quick look here again at Solana. I'm going to try to make this quick and easy just because I already covered it a little deeper this morning. The quick summary is that we're stuck in a range here for Solana between roughly 165 and 169. We got rejected by that level pretty hard here recently, so that upper breakout potential is pretty low. We're more likely to come back down to either retest this 165 and stay range bound for a while, or break down below and effectively perform a bearish backtest of that lower trend line at roughly 165. Either way you look at it, we're still descending lower as well. So not really a favorable situation, but we want to see if there's anything we might be able to identify that could sign a reversal. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Please hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance before we get started. Thank you. Quick note here. Heavy concentration above the price action. We talked about this earlier. Some late longs to it about the 162, 163, but we got a lot of liquidation at 184. So I don't want you to get this stuck in your head that, okay, we got liquidation up there, nothing to the downside, we're just going to go straight up from here. That's not how it works. I wish it was. It'd be nice. It just lets us know that if once we get closer to that range, we're more likely to sweep that upper level, okay? And it's not. It does act like a magnet in a lot of ways, but right now it's so far away, it doesn't have that magneticism to it, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. All right. So when we look at the daily time frame, let's just quickly summarize here. We're still pretty bullish on this coin, minus a few outliers. So if we take a look at the moving averages, the 200 to the 20, everything's below the price action. Majority of them are approximating themselves roughly between 152 to 156. So I highlighted this earlier today and essentially just talked about the simple fact that 150 is probably the lowest point we're going to see because that's roughly where we have our point of control. That's a possibility too. You got to recognize, get that in your head. It could work. It could work out that way. But this 0.618 makes the most sense for an initial pivot if the price continues lower. So 157, I would say we're going to see some support there because there's been a lot of resistance in that range, and it really hasn't been retested yet. Okay, so it would make sense for that to occur. And then again, just to clarify, that's somewhat of a support range, but we're not there yet. We're still over 50 on the RSI, so we're not dead in the water by any stretch. Stochastic swinging down. In a perfect world, the price goes sideways and down a little bit longer, and then we leg up once we have stochastic swing to the upside. So we'll pay attention to that. That's probably a few days away. For right now, though, we got to recognize too, and I talked about this in my Bitcoin update on my Twitter, Telegram, Discord, TikTok, the whole thing. I basically upload tons of shorts now, and I summarized, Bitcoin essentially. The reason why it's important to recognize where it's at is Bitcoin dominance is increasing. It's not like significantly increasing right now. It's kind of plateauing right at that resistance level, right around 54.6. But generally speaking, at this point here, we've seen a significant uptick with a lot of alts kind of bleeding out. So just bear in mind, this may not be the favorable weekend for alts. It's too early to tell. But if that continues, then we could see the price action pull back, mainly because Bitcoin hasn't pulled back yet. If it does, which it's just rejected off its descending trend line, that would mean, I wouldn't say spell disaster for Solana, but it would spell continued retracement to this 163 to 157 range. Yeah, that lower range just below that 0.5 fib level. Either way you look at it, that's a perfect little support level, but still something to be mindful of. 4-hour time frame gives us indication that we're trying to swing up stochastically here, but we're obviously not. We've been pulling back for some time. We're under 50 on the RSI, but we're not even maxed out at 30. So there is more room for downside. I hope you understand that we're not like just bottoming out because we have one higher low. You don't reach when it comes to taking long positions, and you got to recognize too, Solana has propensity to take off, right? So there's no doubt that it could seriously shoot up from here. So the reason why I don't short this coin. It's funny, I got somebody that kept asking me through email consistently, like multiple times, why don't you short Solana? And the best way to describe it is because I've been burnt by this coin a few times, and it's more likely to shoot up than it is to shoot down. While it does shoot down pretty significant when it does, it's hard to catch and it's hard to anticipate. The ups are a lot easier to figure out than the downs, and breakouts more than often than not occur to the upside. So you're statistically more probable to find success taking longs with this coin than you are taking shorts. And me personally, I'd much rather wait for a better long than a short, because shorts are inherently more risky. If you don't know why they're risky, it's because there's no limit to how high a price can go, and that implies there's no limit to how much money you can lose too. All right, so last thing here is the hourly. And just to clarify, we're still under the cloud, well under the cloud, lagging spans free and clear, conversion lines below the baseline. This is a tried and true perfect case scenario, perfect storm for anybody who wants to consider shorting. Again, I don't necessarily recommend it, but I do think that as we continue to retest this lower level, this 165 range, there's a solid chance we're going to see that break and continue lower. So again, consider an entry for long between 157 and 163 if we get there. Maybe set some limit orders. But between now and then, we're effectively range bound, and there's no end in sight until that changes. Okay, so you just got to keep in mind Bitcoin price pulling back. We're going to see a lot of this happen. Solana is knee-jerk reactioning to the downside more than usual since Bitcoin has been pulling back, or when Bitcoin pulls back rather. So to me, it's just kind of a funky thing. Now, granted, we took some nice profits on Solana yesterday, 22% in 1 hour, and Harmony 1, 24, Bitcoin 23, 22 rather. But generally speaking, minus the fact that we squeezed in some really nice longs when the price dipped down, we caught that nice little wick down to 167. The Solana just went on an absolute tear after that, like to the downside, not a good thing at all. I mentioned that because you need to recognize that, you can find profit in any direction, but me, statistically, I prefer to take longs and wait for better opportunities. And we're in that position right now where it's probably best to wait a little bit longer. If you're going to take a long, though, just keep in mind, at this point, you're going against the grain, and there's not, there's less statistical probability of you being successful. And if you do that, just make sure you use low leverage and low position sizing so you can survive the ebbs and flows of the market. Low position size, low leverage is like super, super important. It's funny, I get a lot of people coming over to my trading community, and at first they're really abstinent about high leverage and or using low leverage rather. And then eventually they get destroyed enough and they realize that, oh shoot, I should have listed in the first place, and I'm starting to win a lot more because I don't leverage too much. Okay, we're talking 5x leverage for altcoins and maybe 10x max for Bitcoin. That's basically my rule there. So try that out. See how it works. See how it fits. Yeah, you're not going to be going to the moon with every trade, or you can't really compete with people online that show you how awesome they are with 50x to 100x leverage trades. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, you're going to be successful, and they're not, while they're still posting, they're still growing their accounts in different ways. Okay, so again, you got to remember, it's not why you do what you do, it's not what you do that defines you, it's why you do what you do. Okay, so the why behind you being as a trader should factor in. And me personally, consistent, steady growth is perfect. I don't mind if it's slow sometimes and fast at other times. Okay, I'm sorry I talked too long. I hope you learned something again. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video before you go. Join us on BitUnix. Link down below for some awesome rewards. No KYC VPN required. Help us grow our Twitter, Telegram, Discord, TikTok, dang near every single platform that you'd like available to you there. So thanks again. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.